So let's talk about it a little bit, and just in kind of general introductory terms, what is the purpose of having workers' compensation in the first place?
It's to protect the worker, and in workers' comp, unlike in the civil arena where you have civil suits, negligence is not necessary. Mm-hmm. The mere fact that you are at work when an accident happens, whether it's your fault or the company's fault or a coworker's fault or an outside third party, you are entitled to be compensated.
Does the fact that you're going to be compensated through the workers' compensation system necessarily foreclose you from a cause of action against other outside people, let's say for a product's liability action or something of that nature?
No, it doesn't. That's a third party action against a third party that is not a coworker and not part of the employer. Now, I told you the reason from a worker's perspective of why we have workers' compensation insurance. Now, from an employer's perspective, is it limits the liability because there are three benefits you can get in workers' comp. You can get medical treatment, you can get temporary disability payments, which is money while you're out of work and under active medical care and treatment, and you can get permanent disability payments for the permanent residual effects of the accident or occupational exposure.
In order to put this in a little bit of a deeper context, can I start off by giving you a hypothetical fact pattern, and then I want to start adding facts to it to see how it changes the calculus. Let's say that the person is a male, 25 years old, working in a factory of some kind of manufacturing plant, and he's working with some type of an extruding machine. Puts his hand in the extruding machine to clean it and loses two fingers, let's say thumb and forefinger, chopped off, all right? First of all, this is a typical workers' compensation claim. Would you agree?
I've had hundreds of identical situations.
Now, it's really kind of not a factor in terms of the training he received or lack of training is really not going to be held against the employer. Everything's just going to be resolved through the normal workers' compensation process. Would you agree with that?
Initially, yes.
Okay. Let's throw into the mix that there should have been a safety guard or something of that nature on the extruding machine, and the fact that the manufacturer didn't put one on there is, cognizable as it's negligent. All right. So could this individual then maintain a claim against the manufacturer of the machine separate and apart from his workers' compensation claim?
Yes, he can.
Okay.
He won't get a double recovery. What will happen is, in effect, the workers' compensation award will supplement his third-party recovery to the extent of the counsel fee amount that goes to the attorney handling the third party.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Let's say that the recovery on the negligence action is this $500,000 for the sake of argument. Okay, what's the relationship in the terms of how the money gets distributed between that and the workers' compensation award?
Depends on the sequence. The sequence quite often is the workers' compensation claim is settled before the third party claim is either settled or tried. What happens is once the workers' compensation claim is settled, you calculate the monies expended for temporary disability, the monies expended for medical treatment, and the monies expended for permanent disability payments. This total figure is the workers' compensation's third-party lien against any recovery in the third-party case.
Got it.
Now, the workers' comp insurance carrier can recover up to two-thirds that amount.
Okay. And what happens to the other third? That just kind of gets eaten along the way?
No, that other third is supposed to supplant the third-party counsel fee going to the third-party attorney.
Do you have those situations where the third-party attorney and the workers' comp attorney are the same person?
Yes.
Okay, because it's funny to me that I've seen situations where you have attorneys who are really experts in workers' comp, and then you have other attorneys who are experts in personal injury, but rarely do I see that attorneys who do both. and that may be just my own skew on this. Has that been your experience as well?
Unless it's a automobile case. Let me give you an example. You know, you're in a company truck and you get rear-ended by a third-party non-coworker.
Right.
Then you'll have a situation where the same lawyer or law firm will handle both the liability, which is the third-party complaint against the rear-endor,
right,
and the workers' comp.
I'll give you another one just to see how you would handle it.
Well, let me go back to your machine.
Oh, yeah, my machine, because I had some more questions. But can I just, while it's fresh in my mind, just give you one more hypothetical?
Sure.
Young fellow working in a gas station. He's an employee, all right? Car pulls him to have gas put in the car. The employee sees a dog in the back, goes up, says, "Oh, nice dog," pets the dog on the head. The dog turns off and bites him. Bites him bad, breaks his hand, okay? Is that a comp claim? Is that a personal injury case? Is that an automobile case? What's going on with that, something like that? Or is it all of them?
Well, first, it is a comp claim.
Right.
And it may be and it's a personal injury claim, and it may also be an automobile.
Wow.
Because I think it would, well, if I was handling it, I would go against the automobile insurance company and the homeowner's insurance as far as the third-party claims concerned.
Okay, but you would also have a comp claim as well, right?
Yes.
And then at some point, it's all going to there's going to be contribution from everybody.
Yes. You know what's unique about workers' comp? You can have an idiopathic fall.
What does that mean?
Means there's no known cause. You just pass out at work.
Okay.
And fall down and break your arm. The dizziness is not compensable, but the broken arm is. No known cause. You just pass out at work.
Okay.
And fall down and break your arm. The dizziness is not compensable, but the broken arm is.
I love New Jersey. Now let's go back to our extruder, okay? I want to throw a couple of additional facts at you and see how it changes the outcome here, all right? Let's say, for the sake of argument, this person is not legally in the United States. He's just here, but he has no right to be in the United States. Does that affect either his personal injury claim or his comp claim?
No.
All right, so he's still protected.
Yes.
Let's say, for the sake of argument, he's a full-time employee there, is on the payroll, but the employer has not paid into the workers' compensation. He doesn't have a policy. What happens under those circumstances?
In other words, he doesn't have any coverage.
The employer, right, has not paid the premium on the comp policy.
All right.
He's in violation of the law, but that doesn't help the victim in this case.
Couple things. Number one, there's an uninsured fund in New Jersey. However, the uninsured fund only covers paying medical bills and temporary disability, not permanent disability. For the permanent disability aspect, he would have a right to proceed directly against the employer in workers' comp.